Hi, I'm Adele Taylor, a pageant girl, and this is how I'm going to show you my signature finger coils. My signature style for pageant day is, of course, finger coils. I want to make sure my hair is defined, curly, and full of shine and bounce. The steps to my wash day include a pre-wash, shampoo and conditioner. Then I'll rinse that out, apply oil to my scalp, put a deep conditioner in, rinse that out, and then style my hair using finger coils. And of course, I can't forget to dry my hair using a diffuser. This process normally takes me 4 to 5 hours. The first step is to pre-wash my hair using the Curlsmith Bond Curl Rehab Salve.
So after I section out my bangs, I love just to part my hair down the center. These are gonna be bigger chunks just because we're not doing any two-strand twists, we're not styling the hair. So I just wanna make sure that I'm applying as much product to each section as possible in order to get the best results. Maybe a quarter size amount. I always say start small and then get bigger if needed and apply more product. I have noticed that with my hair, whenever I apply the product, the results are always better when they're on wet hair, and that goes for styling as well. Anytime I'm using a curl balm or a gel, I always make sure my hair is saturated with water first so that I can make sure the product isn't gonna clump up or I didn't overuse the product. So for this product, I only like to use it about once a month. I don't think it's necessary to use it every single time I wash my hair because it is a protein treatment. There is such a thing as putting too much protein in your hair, and then it can actually do damage instead of doing good. Okay, so I'm all done. I like just to go through, again, twirl my finger around the ends, just make sure that it's sealed. And then after I've checked my hair, I'll put it back and then put the plastic cap on, and I will leave this sitting for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. This is not a deep conditioner, so you don't need it on too long, but a good 10 to 15 minutes, just like this with no heat, and then I'll go ahead and I'll rinse it out.
I started pageants at the age of 10. As a little girl, I just loved the stage, and I remember I had to answer an on-stage question. And sadly for me, I did not answer it well, but I just remember the experience really empowering me to keep going. The last pageant I competed in was for the state competition. It was Miss New Jersey 2021, and I actually placed third runner-up. I definitely want to make sure that my hair is going to last long. We don't get a lot of time to do our hair, and so finger coils give me all of the bounce, all of the shine that I want with my hair, but also allows me to keep my hair looking beautiful throughout the entire competition week. Rinsing out the pre-wash is really important because it allows me to see what's going on with my hair. And so what I like to do is still take it section by section. I'll unravel them and make sure that all the product is out of there. And then what I like to do is follow that up with a wide tooth comb, making sure that all my curls are fully detangled. If I had to, I would classify my hair somewhere between the 3B and 4A range. It depends on a lot of different factors. If I've just got my hair colored, if I've just gotten it cut. So after I rinse out my pre-wash, I then go ahead and shampoo my hair using the Bumble & Bumble Curl Moisturizing Shampoo. So for the shampoo, I do not resection my hair. What I like to do is start at the tips of my hair and then work my way to the roots, making sure that I'm getting all of the product out and that my hair is fully cleaned. I love this product. Obviously, it has it in the title. It's moisturizing. I am always looking to provide tons of moisture to my hair, especially since my hair is colored. I want to make sure that it doesn't dry out. After I rinse out the shampoo, it's time to condition my hair, and I love using the Bumble & Bumble Curl 3-in-1 Conditioner. Conditioning is super important to my hair. Again, I love to wear my hair big and out, and obviously, over time, my hair does become a little dry. What I will do using this product is resection my hair, and then I'll apply the conditioner. I'll take a detangling brush, and then I'll go through it as many times as possible to ensure that there are no kinks in my hair. And then I will let it sit for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then I'll rinse it out. So I just finished shampooing and conditioning my hair, and so now it's time to go ahead and get the scalp moisturized with this Yale Organics oil. What I love about this is that it is an eye droplet, and so
It's easier just to kind of put through my scalp. For me, it's really important to focus on the top part of my head because that's the first place my hair tends to get dry, I've noticed. And then the back part is the first to get tangled. Also gets dry, but this is where it tends to mat up a lot right here.
What I love most about this oil is actually the tingling sensation it gives on the scalp because its primary ingredient is mint. You feel this cooling sensation, and there is nothing better than having a freshly washed scalp. The biggest reason why I use the scalp oil before I apply my deep conditioner is to make sure that my hair and my scalp especially gets the nutrients it needs without weighing my hair down and making the rest of my hair oily. Oil is in. As you can already tell, my hair is drying up, so what I love to do is just take that spray bottle, go over it with a few mists, get it drenched again before I go ahead and apply the deep conditioner. This is, again, the Babusu Mint and Deep Conditioner. One thing that I love about this product, even though it comes in a small jar, a little does go a long way. So this is all I need to start me off with. Again, just making sure you're taking the time to rake through. When I first started out, I didn't know that, and so I would just put clumps of deep conditioner on my head, and then I had to learn that's not the right way to do it. My hair tends to be on the drier side by the time I go to wash it. So the deep conditioning process is important because it gives my hair all of that moisture back that it probably is lacking from being out so long. I think it's always good to start at the bottom and work your way up to your roots, just because you don't want your scalp, especially since you have oil on it, to get oversaturated with product and have product buildup. The reason why I found this oil specifically is because I had just finished getting a protective style. I got twist done, my absolute favorite, and my scalp was so itchy. And I remember my friend telling me, oh, try this oil from Yale. And so now I just use it even though my hair isn't in a protective style. I just love what it did to my scalp. I love the feeling, love the minty sensation, and I loved how it also helped grow my hair while it was still in a protective style. Now I'm going to take my hair, put it in a very, very, very loose ponytail. I really try not to disrupt the curls. And then I'll go ahead and take a plastic cap. And then I will take my hot head cap. Normally I will heat this up in the microwave for about 2 minutes. And the best part about this obviously is that you're not hooked up to anything, so you can go about your chores if you have some. I love to catch up on my TV shows, maybe enjoy a good book, and put a face mask on. I'll leave this in somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, and then I'll go ahead and I'll rinse it out. So I'm finally done with the washing process. I just finished rinsing out my deep conditioner, and now it's time to style my hair. For my finger coils, I'm really enjoying the Bounce Me collection and using their Curl Balm and their Curl Gel Spray. And now what I'm gonna do is section my hair, same as before, but since I'm finger coiling, I am gonna take smaller sections of my hair. And the first thing, as always, I gotta start with the bangs. This is Thirsty Curls by Uncle Funky's Daughter. I like this one. Again, I'm really big on smells, and this one smells like banana. But I also think it's good just to have a leave-in. I found that it helps a lot too for my day 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 hair. It doesn't dry my hair out as much, so I love to spritz it over the section that I'm going to apply the curl balm to. So for styling purposes, I love this Bounce Me Curl Balm by Design Me. It's one of their new collections, and I love it because it gives me a lot of hold, but it also doesn't weigh my hair down. I love to start by raking it through with my hands first, and then what I'll do is follow up with the detangler brush and go through it once more. So whenever I'm doing my finger coils, I'll take my brush, I'll go through it about halfway, stop, and then I'll start to piece apart these little sections right here, wrap it around my finger, and then give it a tug, and then let it fall where it is. And I'll continue to do the same thing throughout the section, just taking that, wrapping it around, and then letting it fall. So with finger coils, I find that the tighter the finger coils are, the longer they last.
but also sometimes it does take a while for my hair to frizz out or to get as voluminous as I want it to if I have tighter curls. But if I have something to do, such as my pageant, I really try to make sure these finger coils are as small as possible, because it also helps me when I want to put my hair up, I can take it right back down without worrying about if it has too much frizz or not. The next step is to take this Bounce Me Curl Gel Spray. I am not that big of a fan when it comes to gels, I'm not gonna lie. But with this one in particular, I love it because it works well with the Curl Bomb. It provides that extra layer of hold without making my hair feel or look crunchy. So I know it looks like a ton of product right now, but I promise you it's not. This is just how the product is, and actually kind of like it like this, and that way I can know, oh, okay, my hair is absorbing it well. It's gonna hold a little bit longer because the product is there and I can see it. And then in a couple of minutes, you'll start to see it dry. One of the biggest mistakes that I did quite often, actually, when I first went natural a couple of years ago, I had no idea that some products just simply don't work well with others. And it's not to say that they won't work great in your hair, but maybe mixed with another product with different ingredients won't help, and it'll leave this white residue behind, which you'll start to notice as you're doing your hair. That is one thing, as I'm using or testing new products, I really look to see how it's drying, and if I see, you know, white clumps or white little spots everywhere, then I kind of know, okay, this product isn't working well with another product, or it's just simply not working well for my hair. So for pageant week, what I would do is I would probably add maybe 5 more spritz of gel and really try to lock my coils in. They do pretty good on their own without that much help, but because we are moving around so much during pageant week and we don't get that much time to prep for hair and makeup, I'm really trying to make sure when I leave the door in the morning, my hair is 90% of the way it's going to be for competition night, and making sure it's gelled down enough where I can still see beautiful curls, but that aren't so big and voluminous so it doesn't get frizzy. My favorite part about competing in pageants is definitely just the results. Whether you walk away with a crown on your head or not, I am always so amazed by how much I've actually learned about myself throughout the whole process. And in this instance, for my last pageant competing in Miss New Jersey, I learned that it was very important to have as great of a support system as possible. I remember my mom telling me that you don't need the crown, it's already in your heart. When it was time to go through and start crowning, I remember having a moment to myself where it was like an inner thought saying, whatever happened, you did your best. And for me, that was more than I could have ever hoped for, because the transformation I was able to see in myself, from my confidence to my public speaking to just adapting to new situations and obstacles, all of that are lifelong skills and lessons. And for me, that was the best part about walking away from the pageant afterwards, is knowing that I had all of these life lessons that I could, you know, use in the future. All right, I'm moving into the last step, one of the last steps, which is diffusing, and I'm using the Dyson Supersonic diffuser. So this actually dries my hair in about 10 minutes, and I love it because afterwards I can put the cool shot on, fluff out my hair, and I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna flip my hair, which I just did, all the way over to one side. The reason why I do this is really to make sure that I'm getting each hair section as dry as possible before I start to fluff it out. You never, never, never want to fluff out hair that is damp or still wet. All right, so my hair is about 80% dry, and before I go ahead and bump up the heat just a little bit, I really like to, again, protect my hair as much as possible. So I'm using the OGX Renewing and Argan Oil of Morocco. What I love about this is that it gives me shine, so this is the time it's getting really baked and soaked into the curls. And then the best part about this oil is it's a light mist. So it's not gonna weigh my hair down. I don't have to kind of rake it through my curls. It's just maybe a couple of spritz all over. Really, again, focusing for me on this top part, since this will be the part showing the most. All right, my hair is 100% dry, and it is time for the very last step, which is to put this up so I can go to sleep. Always, always a silk scarf. And then that's it. I want my hair to be full of volume tomorrow and lots of bounce. And the tighter this is, the smaller my curls will look. So the name of the game is to make sure that this is very loose without, of course, coming off. But that's why you have a silk pillowcase. Tomorrow you will see this get so much bigger, and I'll tell you some cool tips of how to maintain it throughout the week.
Hi, it's day 2 and I just fluffed out my hair. I love the way it came out. I can't wait for it to get bigger and bigger, but I love the curls. I love how bouncy and shiny they are. As you can see, the length, the shrinkage is real. So when it's time for day 3 to come around, I love to pick out the bottom as much as I can to kind of even it out and get more volume. So on average, my finger coils last me about a week. One thing that I love about the products I use for my hair is that it has a lot of hold. So now I can go out, I can go biking, I can go to the gym, and I don't have to worry about my hair getting frizzy. It means absolutely everything to me to be on that stage wearing a crown with my natural hair. And I cannot even think how many times someone has told me, oh, you should straighten it, or maybe you should just slick it back, or maybe you should tame it down. And to be able to hit the stage in a way that is my most authentic self, it means absolutely everything. And I truly do hope that whenever I'm on stage and I'm wearing a gorgeous gown and I'm speaking and I have the crown on and I have my hair out, that I'm also inspiring the next generation to come up into pageantry and to see that they can do it too, and they shouldn't be ashamed of their hair because, again, it's an extension of who they are.